Meet Dave of Delusions of Grandeur, actor, producer, and director of films like Tales of the Forgotten. He has come to assemble a team of freaks, geeks, and even worse, film nerds, to discuss films ranging from mainstream to downright crazy. There is Tammy, car enthusiast, and Dave's fiance, Dustin, reptile expert and overall horror collector, Jake, environmentalist and fine art film critic, and finally Brandon, a therapist with a love of film that can only be seen as insanity. Together under Dave's leadership, they are Inside Movies Galore. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another exciting film journey here on Inside Movies Galore. I am your host for the evening. It's been a month or two, but we are back on the Shark Attack with some classics here. We started doing the Sharknado movies on one of my months because we're doing franchises, and there are 6 Sharknado movies. So we're doing 2 of them this month. We're doing some other ones that have NATO at the end of them. So I swear this is good times, because I enjoyed these Sharknados, even though they certainly ripped off some other franchises in the process. But you know, it's for kids, you know.
For kids.
But in any case, let's see. This particular one is Sharknado 5: Global Swarming. It was filmed in 2017, and I believe that the director for all of the Sharknado movies is Anthony C. Ferrante, or Ferrante. Not sure how it's particularly said, but that's his name. And if you don't know who actually stars in here, I know Tara Reid does. Let me bring up IMDb here for just 1 second, so I can Sharknado 5. Okay, and then of course IMDb has a very low rating on this movie. Okay, so this is what IMDb says about the films. With much of America lying in ruins, the rest of the world braces for a global Sharknado, and Finn and his family must travel around the world to stop them. Very, very neat and tidy. Doesn't really say much, but Ian Ziering and Tara Reid and Cassandra Cerebo, and definitely quite a few cameos. I mean,
yes,
Corky Romano shows up as
at least one cameo.
At least one.
Fabio as the Pope is my favorite.
Which one?
Fabio is the Pope.
Ah, yes.
You also have Olivia Newton-John as a secret agent, Clay Aiken as a Q knockoff named Llewellyn, appropriately. And then I actually quite enjoyed Chris Kattan that's a sentence I rarely say. But
and the voice of Iago was in here as well, before his untimely death.
yeah, is
So
was he playing the same character from the earlier films? I'm trying.
I think so. It's almost like they recapped with him in it, just for old times, as saying.
Right.
So Olivia Newton-John and him, they're both now deceased. So.
Well, apparently, and we also have a cameo from Nichelle Nichols. IMDb points out that all three of them passed away the same year, which was about 5 years after this movie came out. So that's kind of interesting.
Weird and trippy.
Yeah. But I was telling Brandon I'm sure gets this. I don't know if you guys do. When I was saying it, I hope for Fabio's sake there were no flying ducks in this movie.
Was it a duck or was it a goose?
It was a duck, or I think it was a duck. It might have been a goose. But
duck,
was
duck,
that was King's Dominion, wasn't it? Or was it Busch Gardens?
I don't remember which one, but he was on a roller coaster and one hit him.
Yeah, that was a little funny with the flying flying animals. I mean, you got to get at least a couple of flying animals in front of these green screens. You know,
if they don't have one already, there probably will be a Ducknado eventually.
Yeah, that would be awesome. That would be awesome to tell you the truth. I would do that, and if they did it kind of like Duck Hunt, that would be awesome.
I mean, I could see them doing like a Birdnado. I'm kind of surprised that they haven't. We kind of, I don't know. You get one that gets full of penguins and they turn into missiles.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's go into first impressions, and then we'll go into kind of a plot here, if there is one.
Plot.
Yeah, there's kind of a plot here. So, Tammy, was this a first time watch for you?
I don't think so. I think we watched them all at one time.
Yeah, because I think we watched them all when they were happening.
Yeah, either that or when you got them. But I don't know what to say except for, well, it's another Sharknado movie. It was funny and entertaining, and things like really okay. One thing I thought was cool though is all the different places they ended up on this one, because I mean, they definitely took on all of Europe. It seemed like,
Well, plus they were spoofing all kinds of movies and making reference to some musicals over time. I mean, Finn made reference to Hamilton at one point in time in the film, so I thought that was kind of cool. But
I'm going to take my shot.
Yep.
But
I liked Bret Michaels jamming on the front of the bus there,
Well, and if you know anything about the actor who plays Finn, he used to play in, I believe, 902.0 at one point in time. If some of y'all,
there was no point. It's 902.0.
that was the sequel. No.
I had fun with it.
Yeah, they start with a pretty solid nod to Indiana Jones and end on a really solid nod to Back
to the Future.
Back to the Future, yeah. I know that last night, my driver at work, as I was watching, he goes up and he goes, "What are you watching?" And I told him, he just kind of looks at me and he goes, "Sharknado?" And
I would think the reaction would be, there were 5 of them?
6.
6.
Well, I
Well,
know,
I guess at the
he's
time, yeah.
a Puerto Rican or Mexican or whatever, but you know, and so I'm trying to explain to him the Sharknado movies. He's giving me all these weird looks, and I'm like, Gary, I said, you know, if you ever got some spare time, just even go get number one, and you'll get what I'm talking about. You know, right? You know, and watch it. And he's like, okay, he's like, okay, Tommy, all right, Tommy, you know. So, but yeah, I mean, how do I put it? If you watched the first one of these and you kept on watching them, all right, then you've had some fun. If you watched the first one and you didn't watch any of the rest of them, you weren't gonna enjoy yourself. You know, it's like either either you watched the first one and never watched another one again because it whatever, you know, or you kept on watching them because they were
Well, and this wasn't
they
the only.
they are entertaining, you know.
And this wasn't the only shark franchise that was going on the asylum end of things as well, because there was, I believe, the two-headed shark franchise also going on. They've got two-headed, three-headed, four-headed, five-headed, six-headed sharks out there, you know, and just keeps on going, you know. So, but this one is like I would have to say the fulcrum of the franchise series that started coming out on the Sci-Fi Channel, which
All
seems
I
to
know
be
is
a regular for Asylum Films.
all I know is as they kept coming out, you tell me there was another one, I'd be like, another one? And then
Why?
like a little bit. Guess what? There's another one, and I'm like, what?
They should do another one like sometime soon and call it For Fuck's Sake.
They've been trying to get another one off the ground, but they've been having a hard time.
But
But
yeah, I had fun. You know, I mean, like I said, if you've been watching them from the first one to now, then you evidently enjoy some humor and you know lots of things that could not possibly happen. You know.
it's just a flesh wound. But in any case, heading over to you, Jake. Was this a first time watch for you?
yes, it was. As we said in the previous ones, my first experience with the first movie was some time back, but I never did go on and watch the subsequent films. So it was fun getting to see it. That, like I said, there certainly are a number of things I enjoy about this one. It is a mixed bag, definitely. There's no two ways about it. It is definitely, like most of these movies, it's a mixed bag. And one of the biggest issues that I have with this one is that the whole freaking plot, if we're being perfectly honest, the whole freaking plot is basically Nova's fault. If she hadn't have gone looking for that damn artifact, it probably never would have happened. So yeah, there is that. But otherwise, it was fun. As I mentioned before, certain of the performances amused me. I did have to note, because it amused the hell out of me, when they're first starting to show up, they have one of the newscasters going on there. And on the news, they're like, please do not confront, aggravate, fight, pet, or feed the sharks. And I'm like, yeah, good advice. Yay. Just amused me. But yeah, I'm glad I finally got to see this one. I'll look forward to the sixth one. They are absolutely not high art. But they are fun.
No, because you can even tell some of the storms or funnels are like kind of funky computer eyes even.
CG's awful in this one.
Yeah,
I feel like their budget was a lot weaker than it had been. But
yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
But in any case, is that pretty much it for you then?
Pretty much.
Okay, adding over to you, Brandon. Was this a first time watch for you?
Yes. I watched the first 4 movies, and then I never got to see the last 2. So the other 4 were my second time, or more, depending on the one. Like I think one I watched a lot of times. These 2 are I haven't watched either of them. I think I'm starting to be desensitized to these things. I didn't think I had enough artsy time with The Godfather, apparently, because I was bored with this one. I mean, there were parts. I mean, there were certain parts, like Fabio as the Pope giving the special chainsaw. That was fun.
Yeah.
Um,
And I love the special effect of the chainsaw.
Yes. I liked the whole death blast attack that they included, Last Starfighter style. And
Right.
But to tell you the truth, I guess I'm so used to it being so over the top all the time. And the fact that there really wasn't much plot to talk about. I mean, the most of it was them trying to find their son. And that was it. And then destroying the world, essentially.
Mm-hmm. There were no survivors, almost.
But, it really, I zoned out constantly on this film. I wasn't all that entertained by it. Like I say, maybe I'm all Sharknado'd out. Maybe I'm still under Sharknado overdose. From the last Sharknado month we did, I think back in April, maybe, or May. May was Shrek. So yeah,
No, I think it was March.
Was it March?
Because I'm pretty sure it was the month after the birthday month thing.
Because Skeleton Key was the one that had 5 in it,
Right.
which was Skeleton Key was March.
Okay, maybe.
So it was Air Sharknado month was April.
Okay.
Actually, I could say this. Why am I even?
Well, it's appropriate.
These
April
things
is a major
because-
character.
Yeah, Sharknado month was April. I was like, what am I doing? I have it actually written down. Why am I just looking at a calendar trying to guess?
Mm.
And the file is open and in front of my face because I use it as we do these discussions. But like I said, I think it's just when you see something that's that over the top that often, you just it just starts to wear on. It's sort of like watching all the scary movies at the same time. I mean, you start really enjoying yourself at the first or second one. Then after that, they just start to wear on you after a bit.
I can't say. I've never seen all of them all at once.
I have watched all 5 back to back.
Mm.
And trust me, by the time I get to 5, I'm not laughing at anything anymore.
I believe you.
So
Well, as far as myself goes, I think this is my second time watching the series. Now, I wasn't here for. I did watch 4, but I couldn't. I I was really sick during Forrest discussion, so sorry that I had to like lay low on that one. But I am back for this one and the following one, as long as you guys are willing. um, and I had a hard time remembering exactly what went on in this one. It's like my mind had a blank as to what. Oh, I remembered Fabio being in it, and I remembered Corky Romano, but that's about it. And I vaguely remember the beginning and the end, just a little bit. For all that it's worth, it was okay. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the best Sharknado. It's not the worst one either. But yeah, I do get the fact that this one drags a little bit, and that's partially because I think they've almost done everything they could possibly do
Mm-hmm.
in a Sharknado movie, and I guess for the most part, it's Finn that kind of like the only saving grace in this movie. Oh, and Dolph Lundgren showing up in the end. So that being as said, I enjoyed it for what I enjoy it for what it is, and at the end of the day, the CGI sucks. But what you can do with a green screen, well, they show you exactly what you can and can't do through all of these movies, and show you that production really doesn't matter to make a movie. Neither does a plot, evidently. But that being said, I guess we'll go into the plot. Okay, like Jake said, what's her name? What is her name again?
Nova.
Nova, yes, and Nova. I almost wonder if they got that name from like Planet of the Apes, or something like that, you know.
Could be.
But basically, Nova is on an expedition with a group of people called the Sisterhood, apparently, and apparently in while investigating Stonehenge, she comes across an artifact, and before going into the whole thing, she's like, I need Finn, you know. And so Finn is actually at the White House at the moment.
He's in Britain.
Okay, yeah, he's in Britain.
Minister.
With a minister, and she calls him.
Yeah.
And she meets him in a helicopter and takes him to Stonehenge, and that's when it kind of like straight up rips off Indiana Jones.
Well, also the opening credits kind of took the style of Indiana, or at least part of it did.
Yep. So we do have that, which is a big crutch to lean on for an adventure movie. I'm not sure if Steven Spielberg entirely enjoyed that, but they did it, and it's done. So, but it was kind of cool that they had some piranha sharks and towards the artifact, and then of course the rolling head of the shark that was rolling after them, because you kind of expected something to roll after them, and some booby traps and whatnot, and they got that thing out, and of course that's what started it all. And I even think Finn is like, what the hell did you get me into, Nova? And of course, his son and his wife, which is played by Tara Reid, she can
Mhm.
fly.
Right. As you do.
Because she's kind of like bionic.
Right.
And his son wears this helmet that looks like it was a
Well,
dumbed down version of a Rocketeer
well, you got
helmet.
to mention the scene where he gets it, where they meet the Llewellyn, who again, you got Clay Aiken in a bad wig and a bad British accent, which was actually kind of amusing to me. And like I said, I was actually amused by Chris Kattan's overly over the top, marmy, upper crust British accent. I found it amusing somehow, and it's rare that I'm amused by Chris Kattan. But anyway,
But yeah, the son gets the helmet, and evidently the helmet helps him out with killing sharks, which is kind of cool for the kid, you know. But
you know, for the kids.
ultimately, the kid ends up getting sucked away from Nova's slippery hands into one of those Sharknadoes, and they pretty much are chasing him throughout the rest of the film. But I do believe that Nova's sisterhood comes into play a little bit, where she basically tells Finn that his sister is involved in it too, and he's a little bit protective over her and tries to get her to get off a boat eventually. But before all this happens, I do believe that Finn does. Oh yeah, there is a moment where you see Lahura, the actress who played Lahura in Star Trek, is like the Secretary of Defense. She shows up in here eventually. Yep. But the actor who plays Corky Romano, he's like the presidential security, national security, or at the White House or whatnot, and I think Finn meets him. Doesn't exactly meet the president at the moment.
Again, they're not at the White House; they're in Britain.
Okay, so they're in Britain. So meaning something to probably do with the Queen of England or something like that. Because I do believe that they end up at Buckingham Palace
at one point. Yeah,
at one point in time, and he involves the soldiers that are in front of the damn place, and he's like, "Do it for your queen and country," kind of thing. And so people on the ground and some of the soldiers, and there are sharks flying all over the place, sharks piling up in front of the door, and somehow Finn gets swung into the place, and he pulls out a crown, and he's like for Queen and Country, with a slimy looking crown. What do y'all think about the storyline so far? Is there really much of one?
Yeah, I mean that's most of what happens in a manner of speaking.
I would actually feel like Jake, I figure you would be against Nova of all people.
I was not happy with her in this movie.
Because she wants total ecological destruction. She released the Sharknadoes because she wants to kill every shark in the world.
Right. Yeah, and like I said, I'm not really a fan of her in this movie. I thought,
And she doesn't really care if she uses Finn's family to get the stuff done. And I think Finn is really mad at her at first.
well,
for
yeah.
that.
He's
But then it's like he does a 180 and turns around and calls her family and shit. It's like, really? You know?
you can be pissed the hell off at your family. But, well, you kind of glossed over why she was in the position of losing Gil in the first place. But that was, I think Finn went off to save the queen and left her in charge. And when Gil was like, oh, no, I want to help. And he's like, I want you to protect Nova. And, well, it didn't go so well.
Yeah. Well, trying to think exactly what happened next, because I know it was all a jumble of things that happened. Okay, he was there to protect the queen. I'm not sure if he entirely protected her. At one point in time, he ended up at the same place that Corky Romano showed up at after he got his leg blown up, and he did the whole "Haven't you ever heard of Monty Python and the Holy Grail" bit?
So you keep saying Corky Romano, and I had no idea what the fuck you were talking about. You were talking about Chris Kattan.
Yeah, Chris Kattan. Yeah,
I forgot he was in that movie. See, I've never seen it.
Yeah, it's the one movie that I remember him from. I've never seen him in anything else. So.
No, we've covered one on this channel.
Which one?
Santa's Sleigh.
Oh, geez, I don't even remember.
The highlights of that movie when him and Fran Drescher got killed.
When we were talking Chris Kattan, wasn't he in House on Haunted Hill remake?
I think so.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Okay, so he was. So I will say this: Chris Kattan, that was my favorite role of his. Because I mean, the way he did that is like, it's not, it can't be reasoned with. It's a fucking house. I mean, that's great.
I forgot that he was in that. I totally so I go, okay. Now I know two movies that he was in. It's just he's such a short dude, and to me that character wasn't short. As short as.
You've got me curious about something now, and I feel like I've got to look this up. But continue while I do this.
Okay, so ultimately, Finn is asked about what they are supposed to do, because that's who Finn is. He's hero in all things, knowledgeable in Sharknado aspects. So he's there to tell them what to do next. In the middle of his speech, and when Chris Katano comes in and says, "What did you guys do?" The sharks end up destroying the building, and people have to leave. And ultimately, I think it's shortly after that that is when the sun actually gets caught up in one of the Sharknadoes, and that's when it becomes the main, somewhat focal mission, at least in this Sharknado, and until they are told by eventually they end up at a church where a scholar ends up telling them that they should just take it back to the Stonehenge themselves. And every Sharknado that they end up being part of has a vortex of some sort.
Right.
For what reasons, I don't know, but apparently it drops them off wherever and whenever, at least until they figure out that they can control it.
Yes, they figured out teleportation via Sharknado.
Yes. And
you just random aside, you got me thinking when you were talking about how short Chris Kattan was. He's only an inch and a half shorter than Tom Cruise.
Okay. Which isn't really saying much. But for some reason, I always felt like he was a short guy.
Right.
And he's a short guy in here. So
yeah.
I wonder if in his old age he's just shrunk. But in any case, somewhere in the whole vicinity of things, the artifact is being sought after by factions of some sort.
Right.
Which I'm not even sure if we figure out who that guy is.
He's that guy.
Yeah, he's that guy. So I don't know what his name was. I'm sure he was somebody at one point in time, and he just ended up showing up as a cameo. But
yeah,
there was a slight look like he was going to fight for a moment, but then I think he got eaten by a shark.
Mm-hmm.
And Finn ended up grabbing the artifact, and they ended up. Well, there was a little bit of a chase, a little bit of a chicken where they played chicken, and
Finn had
with
to
the
do
guy.
one of his signature moves and
Oh,
cut the shark to get the artifact back.
we can't forget from. Oh, sorry. We can't forget the that London Sharknado. We're introduced to a trio of very short-lived doctors, and one of them, the third one, Dr. Angel, I was actually very amused by Geraldo Rivero's cameo.
Okay.
It was pretty wild, and but yeah.
Well, I know one of the news reporters, the man of color that was there.
Yeah.
I know at first I thought that he had died in 4, but I think he just stabbed at sharks and survived.
And continuity is not the most important thing in this series, I would imagine.
No, but I noticed he was there throughout a little bit, but ultimately, I think after they get the artifact back is when they end up at the church, which is like it's not a church, it's a museum-ish type place, and I believe. Oh, okay. That's what happens before the fight, because one of the curators actually noticed the artifact, called dude, and that's when it was stolen out from under them. But after that is when they started thinking about taking the artifact back to Stonehenge, but they didn't exactly act on that right away. I'm trying to think when Tara Reid's character ended up like, when did they end up in Australia?
I think
I know I'm jumping around a little bit because
Brazil. But you guys can look at the picture and tell me if you think I'm right, if you want to. But we were saying the guy that tried to steal the artifact in Rio, I think that was Greg Louganis. I'm looking
Okay.
at the people that cameoed in it. I think that was him.
Okay.
Yeah. So interesting.
Yeah, that guy. See, some of the cameos I knew, some of them I didn't, and it's hard to memorize every single one of them because some of them show up for very short periods. Sometimes you can't even recognize them.
Right.
But so ultimately they do some transporting to different cities. I know you mentioned Brazil. They ended up in Brazil, and some guy who looked like Jesus showed up.
Yeah.
Or actually, who kind of looked similar to the Big Lebowski, actually, a little bit.
Well, he was John Hennigan, who apparently is a professional wrestler, if I'm understanding this correctly, looking at what he's been in.
Okay.
Yeah. But he's had a couple movie roles here and there. But yeah.
But he shows up, and I think he takes them to because Nova has actually been keeping track of where Finn is, and by this time, Tara Reid's character has taken the artifact with her because she thought, well, they might need it for to find the sun. But we do find out that among the sisterhood is Finn's sister, but she's not too happy about that. And she's on a boat that just so happens to be in the middle of a Sharknado storm, which I believe some of the bins that are on that ship end up inside that Sharknado, which kind of metamorphs it into what when it arrives in Tokyo, it's they almost call it a Sharkzilla.
The ship is transporting nuclear waste, apparently. Yeah. Like they're trying to do cleanup from previous Sharknadoes.
Well, yeah, but the toxic waste ends up going inside the Sharknado, which kind of mutates it into. There's this couple that's on the beach, which I find kind of funny that they were playing on the beach, and then suddenly the sharks kind of mound out of the water and like eat their butts as they were heading into Tokyo.
The sharks turned into Sharkzilla.
Well, yeah. Eventually, they ended up in Tokyo, and it's almost like they were mimicking Shinzilla, almost, just a little bit, because I remember Shinzilla, even though a lot of people love that movie, the way that Godzilla kind of like transformed on land was a little bit clay motion. And that to me is what it looked like this mound of pulsating sharks that shaped into fins and tails and just was destroying along its way, making a destructive path in Tokyo. So I guess, in a sense, this became a kaiju movie. In a sense. But ultimately, they lost Nova at one point. And somehow Tara's character, when they ended up in Australia, they found out that the I thought this was interesting, that the opera house was in fact something entirely different. It was they could move the shell like things around. They could shoot them at the Sharknado.
It was a secret base to combat Sharknadoes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which I thought was interesting. And in the same retrospect, there was like a mother-daughter team that seemed to take Tara Reid's character and re readjust her bionics or whatnot, and they
They had to put her back together because she had been broken.
yeah, so she can no longer fly. They definitely fixed her with a bunch of shit. Which I'm not sure if we entirely saw everything that she could do with all the shit that they put inside her.
Probably not.
But
make her stronger, faster.
Yes.
Right.
More rechargeable, which actually was part of the plot.
Yeah, that she can't take on too much energy
Right.
or she'll blow up or something.
Right.
Yeah, they were worried that if she did too much lovemaking, that she would overcharge her shit, and they're like, we were just kissing. That's all we were doing.
And apparently, there was a joke, a reference of Olivia Newton-John being the surgeon by her telling them not to get too physical.
But ultimately, somehow they ended up in they figured out that if they focused more when they put the artifact up in the air and they focused their telekinesis powers or whatnot on it, they could make more direct ways to teleport to where they needed to go. And apparently they were trying to get back to Stonehenge, but it took them to Egypt.
Yeah, a common mistake.
So inside the Sphinx, they went. They noticed that there were symbols that they had seen before. And they found a shark god apparently underneath the Sphinx, and Finn saw what looked like a fitting piece for the jewel that was in the middle of the artifact. So what does he do? He breaks the artifact and uses just the stone to open up a door, which takes them into another ancient tomb-like structure that. There's this machine that looks like it's got wheels and whatnot. Apparently, it was made to destroy the Sharknadoes or whatnots, or at least that's what they thought. So he cranked that, started the machine, and for a moment, it looked like they had they'd done it. All the storms had gone away. But then suddenly the machine started moving again, and you're like, oh shit. And suddenly, Tara Reid's character, she ends up noticing something that looks like a key that was on top of a sarcophagus, and he takes it up and tries it out. It doesn't seem to work there, so somehow they end up outside. And he kind of does a whole Gandalf the Grey, "You shall not pass" thing on the other symbol that he had walked past before, and somehow we get the Fantastic Four Flame On thing with Tara Reid's character in the background, while apparently this staff is drawing all the powers that be, and it entirely blows up his wife, and now we see Finn walking across. And I think I skated over this, but they were doing several scenes with his son, he was on a farm of some sort, and I guess they were over Sharknadoed on the farm.
The scene from the son from the previous films, not the one we've been talking about.
Well, yeah, some from the previous films, although a different actor, I think.
Well, no, was he different? I know
Yes.
they changed him originally, like they recast him, but was he different from the last time?
Yeah, I think so.
Huh.
Or maybe not the last time. I don't know. I don't know. I know they recast him in 4, but
Yeah.
I'm remembering him from 3, and he was like a lot older, and he had military background experience. So
Right.
this kid that they were showing didn't even seem like he had military experience. He was just there. And I know, and so when
Yeah, it's the same one that played the 4th movie.
okay,
Yeah, it's the same one.
wasn't sure. I watched it, but I didn't entirely remember. But apparently, the Sharknado got all of that part of the family. So by this
Well, they got
time and at this point, he's like everyone's gone.
yeah. They don't even show Claudia, the daughter, but the son says that she'd been hit too. So yeah, Finn knows they're all gone.
But so at the end here, he's kind of trekking it with
And
an
Nova
apocalyptic
I don't know if you
hoodie.
I don't know if you mentioned this, but before they even go to Egypt, I think before they went to Australia, I don't remember when it happened, but Nova died like in Finn and April's arms. Like, so
Yeah,
Died
I
last
mentioned.
year, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I mentioned that she
They
died,
hop around a lot.
but
Yeah.
I didn't mention that she died in their arms. And
Pretty much.
honestly, I really didn't entirely care at that moment because Nova had actually started the whole thing to begin with. So she wasn't exactly a flame in my my eye right at this moment. She was too driven in what she was trying to do. But I guess it all looks like doom and gloom because he's trying to find out if anybody has survived. You know, is anybody out there? Is anybody there? You know, in this what looks like a end of the world type scenery, and suddenly out of the blue, a Hummer, I think it is, some kind of Hummer, shows up, and we see Dolph Lundgren show up, and he tells him he's his son, and evidently he was sent back in time, and he finally figured out a way to time travel through the Sharknado storms, and he found him, and they're like, where we're going, we don't need. I forget exactly what he said.
Finn asks him if he has a license. He's like, "Well, we don't. Where we go, we don't need a license."
So ultimately, it ends kind of similar to like Back to the Future, and they kind of do the title sequence to be continued at the end there. Is there anything else that I have kind of skated through that anyone wanted to mention? Because I wasn't trying to do a whole play-by-play. There's a whole lot that does go on. It's just
Yeah.
it just does kind of drag. The fact that Fabio gives him this extraordinary Excalibur looking uh, uh, weapon, which is the um, uh, chainsaw of the moment.
Yeah.
And I know it's got like some kind of a sword or whatnot, and apparently,
Problems with a chainsaw.
well, I like the lasers that came out of it.
Yeah.
Like in the one Sharknado,
Well,
he like pressed one button and then it killed like a whole ton of them at once.
he's going through like slicing and dicing, and all of a sudden he sees a white cross light up, and he's like, okay, and he pushes the button as you do, and I kind of got it as they were trying to say that it was smiting all the sharks, like, and I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty fun.
Yeah, they kind of did a Christianity thing there for a moment. Like,
I mean, what would you expect if the Pope gave him a weapon, right?
right.
Yeah.
I forget exactly who Fabio is. Isn't he like a model of some sort?
Yeah, he's a model.
But in any case, and I actually think he fit the role. To be fair and honest, it was a very small role and whatnot, but he did kind of feel a little bit like a pope for a moment, you know. But he's the kind of pope that I don't think the Catholics would go for, though. But in any case, at the end of everything, what did we think about the production overall? I thought production was shitty this time around.
Yeah, the production was. None of the movies were exactly top tier productions, but I feel like this one was not at the top for this series.
Nope. I mean, Stonehenge looked like Stonehenge. Buckingham Palace kind of looked like Buckingham Palace, but the inside of the suckers. And the cameos were okay. I mean, I like the fact that Lahura said, "You've gone where no man has gone before." And I think Lahura's dead now too.
Yeah, like I said, it was same year that the other two passed.
So that's right. You said Michelle Nichols.
Yeah.
But in any case, other than that, did anyone else have anything else to say about the production overall?
I don't know why, but even though it felt technically more diverse, it just felt a little cheaper in some ways, which is weird to say about something like this.
Okay, what about you, Tammy? What did you think about production overall?
I don't know. To me, there isn't much to say because it's like it's the same kind of stuff. It's just this couldn't happen or that couldn't happen.
Yeah, but did you think the sharks looked cheaper and the shots looked cheaper? I mean, couldn't you tell that the CGI was like a little bit fuzzy in moments?
Yeah, I don't. I guess
it wasn't as finely tuned.
If you want to use cheaper as the word or whatever, yeah, I guess it. The quality wasn't quite as much as the other ones. So.
And I know. I'm trying to think. Did Flash Gordon show up in the last one, or is it the next one that I think he shows up in? I think it's the next one. But I was trying to because I wasn't here for the fourth one, so wasn't sure if he showed up in that one or not.
Don't
But
remember.
okay, well, in any case, uh, can we say anything about music? Was there any music besides the Go 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 Sharknado?
They had an updated version of the Sharknado theme that was pretty fun, but
There's some good selected film music. Like
Yeah.
I liked the Offspring song they threw in there.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that I know that one. I knew the song.
Yeah.
You know.
and they also had an interesting moment, a musical-ish moment,
Oh yeah, that's right.
where
Bret Michaels showed up.
right
I
where
totally forgot about that. Bret Michaels gets hit by a double decker bus
that Nova's driving. You see,
that Nova's driving, and at first they were like, "Oh God, I just killed Bret Michaels,"
right.
and he all of a sudden he like gets up and he's like, "You know what? I'm okay."
No ticket.
And
He's just
then
hanging out on front of the bus playing. I guess it's "Get Your Ride On" is
yes,
and I wonder, did anyone else feel like that was a nod to Mad Max with the guy on the guitar on the vehicle? Like, I don't know. I feel like it probably was.
just a little bit. There was another song by the band Quint called "Good Morning London,"
Right.
and another one by Quint called "Insanity."
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, and another one called "Brand New You."
Mm-hmm.
So evidently they've done more than just Sharknado.
Oh yeah, they had songs all throughout the series. They had a few here and
"Rigger
there.
by Birth" by the Telecaster Kings. "Salsa Caliente." Let's see, "Salsa Kahuna Grande." "Mina," which was performed by the Muertones, and of course the Sharknado Rhapsody, the global warning version, performed by Quint. So, other than that, "Armageddon Surfer Girl Rock On" was another song that was in there.
Right.
But they had to have actually uh had to really ask for "The Kids Aren't All Right" for that. That's where they put their money.
Could be.
I think get the rights to play "The Kids Aren't All Right."
Could be.
But in any case, okay, favorite scene or scenes and our favorite character. And I guess what if anyone can think of the best independent film with somewhat of a budget is what if you think that there was an underrated independent film.
Only one.
Maybe two. Maybe two.
No, I'm just saying, like, anyway, whatever.
Let's go with you, Brandon. Let's start with you. Favorite scene, favorite character, and maybe favorite underrated independent movie. Okay. I guess we'll go over to Tammy. Favorite character, favorite scene from this particular movie, and your the best underrated movie that you've seen that was independent and it's underrated.
Well, yes, my favorite character is poor Gil. He's just,
Okay.
The poor kids, through most of the movie is caught up in the Sharknado, and um, favorite scene, um, when Eve blows up.
When who blows up?
Isn't that her name? Eva? Eve? Mom?
April.
Huh?
April.
April. Sorry. When April blows up.
Okay. What about you, Jake?
Oh, wait a
Favorite?
minute.
Oh, sorry.
Um, well, it wasn't really. I guess it was underrated at the time, but it isn't underrated anymore. Night of the Living Dead,
Okay.
because that was
Uh,
an that was a low budget independent movie, and they never thought it was going to take off like it did. But
true.
it really didn't take off at first.
True. Alrighty. What about you, Jake?
Well, it's really hard for me to say who my favorite character in this movie was. I don't know that I had a strong favorite. I guess if I would say characters that I got the most amusement out of, um, maybe it would be uh, a toss up between the Pope and the Prime Minister. Both of those did amuse me quite a bit. So maybe I'll say the cameos, even though most of them were pretty weak sauce compared to some of the earlier movies. There were a few good ones, but the main cast didn't really interest me all that much in this movie. Uh, as far as scenes, um, uh, the scene with the Pope was pretty funny. I'll give it that. And the follow up scene where he hits the lit up cross and it smites all the sharks, that did kind of amuse me. So maybe I'll go with that.
Okay.
As far as independent films that I honestly would have to do some research to remember which of my favorite films were actually independent. I think several of them were, but I can't really swear to it. But if I were to pick one that I know was an independent film that really, really, really flew under the radar, that I just thought it never got the love it should have. One that I really do enjoy, maybe State and Maine would be one I would mention. That was a really good movie that flew very far under the radar, and maybe I'll go with that for now.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Brandon? Are you back? Or is your mic muted? Okay. I think as far as favorite scene for some reason I do like the Fabio moment with the chainsaw. I do like when she explodes. I do like when they figure out the transportation. For some reason, I get a kick out of Corky Romano's response. Don't you know anything about Monte Python and the Holy Grail? But okay, so one independent film that I think was underrated at the time. I think that there was a film. Okay, I believe it or not, I think that Killer Clowns from Outer Space was underrated and underappreciated at the time. So, but now is a cult classic to many. So, and that one's one that carries the triple threat: horror, comedy, science fiction. So, that being said, Brandon, are you back now?
Yeah, sorry, I had some technical issues on my end.
So, favorite character, favorite scene, and probably your favorite independent movie that is underrated.
Well, my favorite character is Pope Fabio. My favorite scene is when he does the Death Blossom attack from Last Starfighter with the Pope's chainsaw. As far as something like indie that's underrated, there's a lot of these films that are indie that come out at cons and stuff like that I feel are vastly underrated. I mean, shoot, Games Master, what have you done would have been a great thing to have well known, but now it's so hard to see it. You have to know somebody who was there in order to even know it existed, which is sad. That's how it is the case there. So a lot of gaming movies are, because when you think of gaming movies, the only movie you usually think about is the gamers. And with them, I would say the Demon Hunter movies are underrated because they are most people don't really pay attention to them. They usually go straight to the gamers.
Okay. Alrighty. And I think that's pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. So hopefully you have enjoyed our discussion on Sharknado the 5th. Global warning. If you haven't seen the movie, go see it. If you have not, let us know down in the comments what your thoughts on our discussion and what your thoughts on the movie in general are. And we'll see you next week for the sixth and final so far Sharknado movie. I'm looking forward to that. But
the subtitles, it's about time or something.
So that being said, why don't we go around the room and tell the audience a little bit about ourselves and what we do. So Tammy, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you
do? I go on this channel and another one and with David and talk with everybody about the different movies and get their opinions and check out things that are different and new, and it's always always interesting. And now that it's summer, I have fun taking my car out to the car shows.
Okay. Heading over to you, Jake. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
I'm Kotobukijake. I am the sometime co-host of the YouTube channel SeptumSin versus the World. And I just keep very, very busy most of the time with this, that, and the other. I led a hike yesterday at Chubb Sandhill Preserve, which thankfully we had gorgeous weather. That has been in short supply lately, so that was nice. And I do get out into been doing a lot of veggie gardening. I got my first Scotch bonnet pepper today, so I look forward to that. And I try to read and watch stuff, but what have you. And I do try to keep up on stuff for this channel, and also for the other channel. We had a discussion last week on the other channel for the first season of Masamune-kun's Revenge. That was kind of fun. And but yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
Alrighty. Heading over to you, Brandon. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
SeptumSin versus the world. We love the physical media. I try to do a pickup video every Wednesday and usually a review every Thursday. Right now, the Thursdays are reserved for kind of the European vacation trip, but after that, it's going right back to reviews. I'm picking up with the vlogcasts again. I did one with special guest Kyle Rappaport today. And I hope to maybe once or twice a month get another vlogcast running where we pick 5 random films from the collection. So it has to be somebody who has a physical movie collection. And we talk about those 5 films. So it was very fun to do. I look forward to doing another episode of it.
Okay. And my name is David Streggy. I'm one of the founding fathers of Inside Movies Galore. So thank you for coming along with us on this fantabulous journey that we've been having. Hopefully you enjoyed our discussion on this film. But I do moonlight under a different channel called Delusions of Grandeur, where we go on with a different group of people, some same. Where we discuss various movies on said channel as well. Just recently, we discussed Jaws 3. And coming up, we'll be discussing Enemy Mine.
Those are one of my brother's favorites. Which Sunday y'all doing that one?
We'll be doing that this next Sunday. Part of the reason why I chose that one is because Louis Gossett Jr. and Dennis Quaid play in Enemy Mine, and they played in Jaws 3 together. So
interesting.
But I do some video pickups and some video reviews from time to time. Lately, I've done them a lot with you, Brandon, because it kind of saves time, and honestly, it kind of is fun to show them off with you. So
it's always fun when you got a co-host to do some work with, which is why I try to use Jake when I do pickups most of the time.
But in any case, yeah. So next week, Sharknado 6 and Enemy Mine, and I guess we'll see y'all later. Hopefully you get a chance to listen to some of those discussions as we continue to have fun. So everyone say good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Inside Movies Galore just makes you just want more. We've had all in the world of media to explore. Horror, anime, or Curious George. Our love of new things was our reward. It is the best night of our week.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.